I actually got pretty good. I went to a couple skate competitions. When I was about 16, I started experimenting with LSD a lot, going to hippie festivals. About 26, I graduated to methamphetamine, which was the worst mistake of my life. My drug use obviously derailed most of my life. My name is Craig Harding. I'm 38 years old and I'm from New Philadelphia, Ohio. I've been clean 120 days today. I was 13 years old when I started using drugs. My childhood wasn't bad. I grew up with just my mom. My dad really wasn't around. My dad not being around as a young kid, I at the time had no idea what it was doing to me. But you know, as the years went on, I was going down to Tennessee, where my dad's from, and I would go down there and visit every summer almost. And then once I started kind of getting more into drugs, more into friends, I just stopped going to Tennessee. But he used to drive semi-trucks, so I mean, I've been out to California, all across the United States. And it was fun while it lasted, you know, but the influences I had growing up were just my friends. Like I said, my mom worked all the time, so I didn't really have a male older role model except some of my friends' older brothers. So that's where it really started snowballing, because they were old enough to buy beer and they would party with us on the weekends, or we would party with them on the weekends. And then, you know, a lot of them looked out for us though. They, you know, as much as they were getting into whatever they were doing, they would say, you know, you better be doing good in school, this, that, and the other, but they didn't really check in on us like that. So as long as we said we were all right or doing fine, they didn't know any different. I loved to ride bikes when I was a kid. I started a habit with skateboarding early on. I was about 13 as well. I actually got pretty good. I went to a couple skate competitions in Berlin. There used to be a skate competition out there. And then the skate park down here in New Philadelphia was built, and we cut the ribbon on that. Dedicated to James Short. And then just, you know, started partying every weekend, and then over the summer, literally that's all we would do. I kind of fell off skateboarding because I started getting messed up on the weekends, couldn't really stand on a skateboard very well. What I can remember most about when I started first using drugs was just drinking and smoking weed, hanging out with the friends. My mom worked a lot, like I said, so she didn't really know what I was doing after school and stuff, and I would skip school a lot. And then when they would call and leave a voicemail on the answer machine, I would just delete it before she got home, so she never knew really. And then I kept up on my grades, so she had no idea. Throughout middle school and high school, a lot of my influences weren't bad ones. As the years progressed, I started noticing maybe I was the bad influence on a lot of people. You know, and my mom thought I was, you know, shouldn't hang out with this person because they're a bad influence on me. And I mean, we really weren't bad influence on each other. We just got together and made bad choices. When I was about 16, I started experimenting with LSD a lot, going to hippie festivals, and just partying, getting into harder things, LSD, ecstasy. I started taking my drug use to another level probably around 20. I started really indulging into cocaine a lot. Just at first it was on the weekends, and then just cocaine, drinking, going out to bars, drinking, and then using cocaine at, you know, late night to not be so drunk, I guess. And I mean, never really got too much into like crack or anything like that. Just kept it with coke. And then about 26, I graduated to methamphetamine, which was the worst mistake of my life. So that's been 9 years now. I didn't think I even had a problem with that for the longest time, because I never had to stop. I never had to worry about anything. I didn't get in trouble with it or anything like that. So I just kept it to myself a lot. Nobody really knew I was doing it for the longest time, until, you know, I got into the relationship I'm in now. And, you know, my girlfriend she's 7 years sober, and she's been trying to get me sober for a couple years now, and I just, you know, thought I had it under control. Thought I was hiding it from her, and thought I was hiding it from everybody, and come to find out I wasn't. You know. Prior to getting clean this time, I just never realized that, like I said, had a problem, but I didn't realize that not keeping a job, you know, it was a struggle to keep a job, hold on to a job. I was losing friendships, losing family member friendships. My mom was fighting stage 4 breast cancer for 7 years. And that, I mean, I helped her as much as I could, but at the same time, you know, I wasn't really around like I should have been for my children or my mom. So I'm thankful that this last time getting sober, she was able to see me in my sobriety walk, and I was able to spend as much time with her as I could before she went to be with the Lord. My drug use obviously derailed most of my life, and then this time getting clean, because I never really had to get clean. And so this was the first time I checked myself into rehab. It was the first time I've ever been to rehab. I, you know, checked myself in rehab April 8th of 2025, and I've been clean ever since. And like I said, with that, I mean, I'm staying with at Built on Stone. It's a little side company from Beneath the Shade, and it's been the best journey I've ever made in my life, and it's the best decision I've ever made in my life. I'm working on getting my license back. I've bought a car since I have been clean. I work now. I have a job that I love with a good friend of mine that he started his own company. I am very actively involved with my church, Lifeway Church. I have a sponsor. He's awesome. Since my walk, I was able to reunite with my father, who I hadn't seen for 27 years. And that was very, very heartfelt, you know, and just spending time with him and his side of the family, just reuniting with a lot of them was really, really cool and much needed. I have 4 children. My oldest is 20 and my youngest is 16 months old. And they're amazing kids. I'm just thankful that, you know, this time getting sober, my oldest daughter is just happy to be in my life. And you know, when I went to rehab, she said, "We'll be waiting on you." And I think about that a lot. And we have a great relationship now. And then my oldest son, he's 12. I hadn't seen him for 8 years. And I just reunited with him, thankfully, just last week. And we are going to breakfast every Monday now. And he's involved with his church. He plays guitar. So it's really, really cool. I think one huge thing that's important to me for recovery is community. Just helping out, you know, with your church or with a food pantry or anything like that can be very, very beneficial. At least for me, it's been a huge help. When I first got out of rehab, I literally did so much volunteer work, and I didn't ask for any payment because I didn't need money at the time where I was at. One thing I want to point out is that I did start my testing for my peer recovery support. I'm going through the modules of that. I actually am going to be on a podcast with another church that's local here. I also enrolled in Ohio Christian University for my Associates in the Arts of Human Services, so I can become a drug and alcohol counselor, just working towards that. And yeah, just looking to do great things with the community and help others, and hopefully help, you know, younger kids with mental health problems or anything that they might have going on, you know, substance use disorders, anything like that. Maybe even have my own men's recovery house one day. Shout out to the sidewalks for keeping me off the streets.